What's going on, guys? So today on this final Masterpiece Monday, we finally get to actually combining Devastator. Now what you see here is, of course, a pile of parts, and this is all the stuff that we had otherwise. Now, along with both arms, a couple sets of heads, these dealies, big old gun, and a big purple wing thing, you also get another baggie of stuff. So you get some screw hole covers in both green and blue. Apparently, like, past iterations came with this, and this version does too. You also get spare face plates. So I've already changed one out from this weird screaming face to a different version. And then you also get this guy in here, which is a yelling version of the visor face. So that's what that is. And then, of course, the spare tracks. So keep up with these parts, because you're going to lose them. Believe me, you'll lose them. So what we want to do now, just to prep things, go ahead and flip this in, and you can extend those if you want, doesn't really matter at this point. And we can drop this down. This is a super tight pin, so be careful. You do get the big awesome gun. I love the molded detail on this, and the paintwork is actually pretty nice for what it is. I'm still insisting that it should light up, because that 100% feels like a button right there, but I can't find anything about that at all. It's got some translucent bits up here, translucent bits here, possibly inside the barrel as well. It does have a post, so if you were to plug it into the top of one of the vehicle modes, you could do that, or they could hold it. But if you flip it down, you also get the giant handle with two big tabs on the end. So I'm going to set that aside, because obviously we're not going to need that for a minute. We'll look at each individual head here for a second. So this is the more detailed face, the one I like the least, because I don't like the way this head is on the sides. But this one is the cool one that has a slide up and slide down visor and individual eyes. Also, light up ability, which is probably going to be almost impossible to see here. It's coming on, but my light exposure here is so great. But the light exposure here is so great. Let me turn that off. Okay, so clearly this battery is nearly dead or something, because I can't even see that. So that sucks, but that's the head that I use the least. And then we have this head, which I actually prefer. And I did swap that out, and you can see much brighter. I think this one, the LEDs are just kind of messed up. And to insert the batteries, get my light back here, you just open up these back panels, and they take two LR44s. This one's a little bit easier to open up, but it is what it is. To swap out the face, you have to remove all 4 screws, separate it, leave all the stuff in the back. You have to pull out the faceplate and insert the other things. But I like the slide down visor gimmick. It's just not the one I choose most of the time. Now, these are filler pieces. This is just to bulk out the body, and you put them on a long haul. And I always forget which one goes which way, so I think this is the other side. Like so. So it kind of clamps on, and then also goes around these little tabs here. But you do have to be careful. They might not stay on when you go to assemble the rest, so we'll see what happens. But for the most part, that's how those go. Yeah, this should tab in a little bit better, but once again, these have to go on a certain way. And then each individual arm, you get totally independent moving fingers with all the joints you could possibly want, even side to side joints. You got a big old thumb. It feels pretty greasy. I'm guessing I was just very greasy hands last night. Ratcheting wrists. By the way, they are spring-loaded in there, so be careful. You don't want to accidentally shoot them off. Thumb does rotate, drops down. You have a big elbow joint. Why is it facing the wrong way? Okay, so I had it upside down. So the elbow joint does move like that, and you either have the slide gimmick that shows off all the internals, or if you hold it, hold on, let me straighten it out. You hold it, you can get just the one elbow to move, and you don't end up with the sliding arm joint, but that's up to you. And this is the one for Bone Crusher, because he's got the big T section here, and then the 2 balls there. Other hand is exactly the same. By the way, the spring-loaded gimmick will actually launch those hands pretty far. So that's kind of freaky if you think about it. And then you have the biggest piece here, which is of course the crotch. So big old silver thighs. A lot of people have problems with that. I have no problem with that. Most people want them to be green. I'm okay with the silver. Molded plastic down here, nicely painted stuff here for the vents on the skirts that do move out of the way. The back ones do the same thing. It looks pretty cool. Probably one of those candidates for screw hole covers, if I had to guess. And for some reason, unbeknownst to myself or others, there's a peg right there. That's definitely not going to hold it up on a display stand, so there's got to be a reason for that. There is some theory that maybe all the combiner parts, like these things, should all kind of tab together somehow or something and turn into a thing. I know other versions do that, where like the arms are like tow trailers for the other vehicles and stuff like that. But what we're going to do now is actually do some combinering. I'm going to start with the leg bots so that we can make this Devastator grow. Actually, probably going to have to raise the camera up to make this happen. This is going to be one of the tallest reviews, if I had to guess. So you've got big old T-shaped slots there that will slide in right into the back end of Scrapper. And then you grab these things, rotate them around, line them up with those pegs, and you get that. I guess that only wants to rotate that way. There we go. With that, then you grab your Mixmaster. He's slightly different in the fact that the front has to go inside. I'm sorry, no. The back end does slide in, but the front has this one that has to go up in it. So I like that even now they have a bespoke side. Like, you can't screw it up. They're exactly the way they should be. So tab this in. And now, because the legs are slightly spread, we need to just angle them ever so slightly so they are holding each other up. Now that's insane in and of itself. Now I have an extra light hanging here. I'm gonna have to move it out of my way entirely to finish this, or else I won't have enough space. So we need long haul back, as I already did. Like I said, these filler pieces might pop off here, so I'm gonna just go ahead and remove them for the time being. I'm going to move this up because I'm going to have to do some standing more than likely. So what we got to do here is you've got two big clippies here, and you got two posts here, and you've got 4 posts up there and 2 big mushroom pegs. Now hold on, I've got to adjust the camera. There we go. So I had to crank everybody up like I'm at the top of the world here. In fact, I'm trying to do this on my set is ridiculous. So one thing you want to do, and I don't even know if I'm going to get this on camera, so you want to peg one side in, like so. It's a pretty loose fit, if I'm honest. Then you want to peg the mushroom caps in, like that. Or maybe try to put them on at the same time and then clamp on. Okay, so that's on. There we go. Okay. And now the hardest thing in the world is to get these lined up, actually. Wow, that is the easiest that has ever happened. Not even going to lie about it. Normally, that doesn't work that way. Okay, which way do the hips face? Okay, so the hips are facing that way. Now one problem is, I'm kind of outside of my light here, so I need to adjust. This is going to be so hard. I've never had to review anything remotely this tall. Even the Voltron we did a few years ago was not this tall. Okay, so lights are up. And once again, we want these things like that. So we're going to need hook for the time being. And so all 4 of these are going to line up with the 4 things there. But before we get there, I'm going to install the chest piece because I'm not going to be able to finagle it otherwise. So you want to hook it right there. And then come underneath and plug it in from there. And now what you got to try to do is line up all 4 pegs, which is not always easy. I mean, they kind of want to line up, so it's not crazy. With the exception of the one that's a bit wonky in the back, but I think, there we go, that's all 4. And now you want to come to the back, it's already lined itself up. And you plug the top of long haul into that. And he's getting so much taller now. I gotta back up. He wants to lean at this point. Let me see if I can get him to lean forward just a hair. There we go. That'll at least keep him upright for the time being. So for scavenger, you want to grab the arm. This is going to be one of those things that's going to be hard to see because I'm working around the camera. Turn it this way so you've got like the big window, 2 posts, 2 posts. There's your inside elbow. Now you've got to hook that thing here, plug in here, and plug in here. And it's a super, super tight fit to finagle these things around each other. And it's a thing I really don't like doing the most. So the bottom is hooked. You got to just push it until those pegs get to their holes, which is not easy, especially when your thumb is in the way. There we go. So now straighten that up and then close that down and over, and there's your arm. And now you just take him over here and line him up and slot him in. Close that down like so. And now he's gotten top heavy. Go ahead and rotate this and bend the arm, and hopefully he'll want to stand up. He'll get balanced here in a minute. So let's fix him again like so. Grab our other arm. I believe we want to rotate like so. Come up in here. Want to go up underneath. Oh, I got it upside down. Up under there like that. And then close up your tank treads and try to line up those ports again, which is also super not easy with all that in the way now. Like that. And then probably a slightly better way to do that, but I got it in there. And then that roughly tabs in up there. Come back to here. Tab that in. Tab that in. You got your combiner port out. Add it to that side. Clip it down. And now this monstrosity is almost done. And let's see here. Can I go any higher? Yeah, just a hair. And we take our head. I did forget to put the filler pieces in. And we just rotate it to the skinny side. And plug that in. Whew. And there we go. Now let me see if I can get these little side pieces in. Might be harder to do now that he's combined, but we'll see. So tab that one in. They're just kind of friction in place. Not really clamping in. They should. I get that one tabbed a little bit better, but there we go. And I'm gonna go ahead and straighten up his arms just a little bit, give him some more stability. But it's easier with it fully extended to get that nonsense together. So just like that. And yeah, he's a giant boy. I gotta move my chair back. I don't have any room to work. So yeah, biggest thing ever to be reviewed on this channel, and that even includes Omega Supreme, who's roughly the same size. It's kind of crazy. Now he is leaning forward because otherwise he would be leaning back, but you can kind of finagle some stuff. So if you bend the knee one click, it should work. Let me see if I can get this one. A single click. And he might balance out a little bit better. I stress the might. You know, he's surprisingly back heavy, and you do have to position the hips in such a way. The hips do slide forward and back. Good Lord. That knee joint is so stiff. But let me just show off that articulation. Okay, so there we go. So it was actually at one tooth already, so I'm just going to leave him leaning forward ever so slightly. So you already saw how the arms move, but let me come in a little bit tighter. So the scary thing is, like, if you want to rotate stuff, you need to compact it, get that like out of the way, and then rotate, because that way you get full contact on those teeth. You can also get kind of far out that way. Rotate your arm around so you can get your articulation and your hand movement, stuff like that. I realize I'm super close, but it is what it is. Moving back ever so slightly. Let's see here. The scary part is getting that torso lean to click, because it's definitely got way too much gap between the teeth. But if you get the arms out, he does balance pretty nicely. You can rotate, though it is super tight. Like, of all things, to be really tight, you make the frickin' waist rotation way too tight. He does rotate, it's just hard. There's a whole lot of friction there. You can see, like, I'm really pushing and he's not going. So there's that. Whew. The head does articulate up and down, does rotate. The other one has a bit more movement in it, so that's just another personal preference situation. The legs and everything do move, but as you guys can see, like, super heavy ratchets. You can't kick forward like that. You can go back. I'm just not going to, because I have to manipulate so far out here, but he's got good articulation for something so big. Now, real quick, I'll put the gun in this hand. It's just like a giant MP hand. So it's got a big tab. It goes into the palm. And then you just wrap the fingers around it. And since I do have them at an angle at which I can't rotate, this one is way tighter and very scarily. So you can just get a little bit of toothiness out of him, and then bend up the elbow to do that number. And if you want, you can just turn. Like, the teeth on those ratchets are so thick that you gotta be careful, because the plastic that's like this is probably the part that would give out, if anything. Let's just be honest. Now, he does have a couple other accessories in this mode that are totally up to you. There's an option with the original G1 version. He's got some core drills, and they do just replace the hand, so just pop the hand off, swap it in. It will shoot them. Previous version didn't come painted. This one does. I like that it's orange on the inside, silver on the outside, so you get that option. Now, for comparison, because it's going to be hard to compare, there's MP10, or if you really want a good thing, comes up basically to his knees, so it's a sizable combiner. And then, just for the heck of it, in vehicle mode, and then just to be even more embarrassing, here's a Bumblebee and a Siege guy. And because he hasn't been here all year long, at this point it's actually kind of sad, Wally can basically fit right up in there. That's kind of funny. So let me raise this back up and do the real comparison. Oh, scooch over, big boy. Make room for somebody who hasn't been on this set before. It's been easier to do on the table. There he is with Siege Omega. Roughly the same height, even with the wings and at the head and stuff like that. That is crazy to think that it's basically on the same scale as the Titans from Hasbro, which in a lot of aspects the combiners should be, but you know, it is what it is. And given the history that these guys had with Omega, it sort of makes sense. Sort of. But most people will put this guy in with other Titans and the other MP combiners and stuff. I have him with my Legends. He's going to stand out greatly if I set him with my Legends scale, but I'm still not sure if that's what I'll do or not. Alright guys, so there we go. The biggest review ever on this channel. The biggest, longest reviews. Now the only thing I didn't try to compare him to was my Planet X Trypticon, because good God, that would take a while. But this thing is absolutely awesome. And the fact that I got it as a full set, well, pretty much complete in the box, except for the instructions, which do suck. It's fantastic. I love all the detail work. I love that it comes in the more G1 accurate colors. There's been so many renditions of this guy already, at least 6 that I can recall. And this one is the quote-unquote perfect version. Didn't mean for Wally to fall there. And I guess if you want to call it perfect, fine. It's just the one that comes with probably all of the add-on kits necessary. And, well, I mean, some details seem to have changed over time. Like, there's some times where the different things will be painted. There's like a fully weathered version. There's an orange one. I don't know why anybody would want an orange one. I'd be almost down for the yellow one. The black and purple, that one is ridiculous though. But for the most part, it is my favorite Transformer thing that I bought last year. That should be pretty well apparent. And he's huge. It's just, what are you gonna do? You know, I got rid of a small Devastator to replace it with this one. And actually, this is not tabbed in all the way, but it'll be okay for now. But guys, give me a big old robo thumbs up if you do like this guy. If you have it, let me know if you have a lot of the same struggles I do, or if you have different ones. I do know that Josh Fisher is at fault for me having to buy this. But do that subscribe button thing if you haven't already. If you haven't watched the other reviews of the individual figures, make sure you go and do that. And of course, I'll catch you guys next time. Remember, as always, keep on constructing.